Welcome back to a Football Friday edition of Running Point on ysnlive.com as we get back into football mode. And let's get to the MP Vivo Heating and Air Conditioning Hotline, where we find the head football coach of the Austintown Fitch Falcons, TJ Parker. Coach Parker, how are you today, sir?
Good, Ron. How you doing, man?
I'm good, man. Wow, it is a great time to be a Fitch Falcon. We made mention prior to the West Side duel with you guys and Cheney that you were really starting to put some great things together with Austintown Fitch, and sure enough, you guys are off to a 4-0 season. You've played really, really hard in the 4 games, and the ball has bounced your way when it needs to, and it's a great day to be a Falcon fan and a great time to be a Falcon fan right now.
Yeah, I mean, there's no doubt about that, and you know, my staff, the kids, they deserve all the credit for that. This is something we talked about right when we took over, about being in these games and then taking things over the hump, as I talked about after the Warren Harding game. Just, we believe we've always been a good team, and it's always been a privilege to be a Falcon fan. But we kind of, this is the year where we started to put things together, and we love that it's happening this quickly. And we're excited about what we can do, and obviously a big game coming up this week.
This is one of those games that takes on a little more meaning, I would imagine, with the OHSAA looking to even the regions all over Division II. They kicked Massillon, Washington, and Massillon Perry down to the Columbus region, and then moved Benedictine from the Toledo region, northwest Ohio, back into the northeastern Ohio region. So I would imagine, Coach, this game now has a little bit more meaning because you're taking on a team that you may very well see again in the postseason.
Yeah, I mean, there's no doubt about it. I don't know. I know you do your homework, how much you've looked at our region, but you know, right now we're sitting. If all teams declare, the top 6 teams will have byes. And you got to remember, we're doing the seeding after this week and then before week 6. So you're looking at a Benedictine team who's sitting at 2-2 right now, and their 2 losses are to Massillon, Washington, and Akron-Hovind, and by many considered 2 of the best teams in all of Division II. So you have them sitting there. This is, you know, a must-win game for them to somehow crack into that top 6 and get a bye. And then you look at us. You know, we get this win and take the team to 5-0. There's no reason why we shouldn't be in one of those top 6 teams in our region and get a bye the first week of the playoffs.
I think it'd be a criminal investigation if you guys didn't get a top 6 seed. And look, coaches are going to be voting on this. From what I understand, the computer polls are going to have nothing to do with this. This is all going to be coaches doing the seeding from top to bottom. And let's play off of that. Okay, let's say you guys knock off Benedictine on Saturday nights, and you're 5-0. And the coaches from Region 5, Division II, Region 5, all get together, and you guys get a real low seed out of the deal.
Yep.
There would be some more ingredients put into the fire, more fuel to the fire, because, and I'm sure you would agree with this, and I'm not going to put words in your mouth. I'll let you answer this question. It seems to me that the Mahoning Valley, in all sports, has gotten a little lost with the rest of northeastern Ohio, and a respect factor from the Akron, Canton, Cleveland brethren not necessarily there all the time. Would you tend to agree with that, Coach?
Yeah, I completely agree with it, and that's honestly my biggest worry. Even at a 4-1, I don't see any reason why we shouldn't be up there with the quality wins and the quality opponents that we've played. You know, we're definitely focused on 5-0, but I couldn't agree with you more. In my background with baseball and so forth, you look at Division II and Division I, Division II, there's just not very many Youngstown teams. So the guys in Cleveland and Akron who are consistently playing Division I and Division II teams like the Federal League, which we went in our past, we find out when it comes down to it, those guys all stick together. And in voting, maybe a 500 team from their league is looked at better than a one-loss or a two-loss Youngstown team. And, I think that's why this year is going to be so unique and so fun to watch that I'm excited for our area. Obviously, I'm very excited for the Falcons, but I'm excited for the teams that we beat and play just to show when these guys get into the tournaments, when a Boardman and a Warren and an Ursuline and a Cheney, when these guys get in their regions and all these other teams think, oh, I'm looking at a 2-win or a 3-win team from Youngstown, they're going to be surprised on how good these teams actually are. And I think you're going to see Youngstown teams climb through the playoffs.
You bring up an interesting point, and Coach Wright said this as perfectly as anyone can. This is not a playoff now. Playoffs are folks that are invited. This is a tournament, and everyone has got a seat at the table unless you decline to get into this tournament. But I think that there is a lot of credence to what you said. The disrespect in certain ways that this area gets, I think that's going to be a thing of the past this year, and maybe COVID is the best thing to happen to this particular area for the exact reason that you just said, Coach, because everybody gets a seat at the table. And now we're finally going to find out just where we are in terms of our football against our brothers in Canton, Akron, the Cleveland area, and all across northeastern Ohio. Let's see just how good the Mahoning Valley stacks up in a tournament format for football.
Exactly. And people don't realize how much money goes into these things when, we're asked, you look at us, or we have to play the Warren Hardings, we have to play the Boardmans because they're the larger schools, in our region. And we've tried, and we can't get other Division III, Division IV schools to play us. And not many schools can afford to travel to Cleveland and Akron and all these other schools consistently. So you end up playing the teams in your area that'll play you. And then however the cookies fall, when you talk about a playoff and being invited, some teams that are really good teams are left out because they were playing larger schools and lost, or, they just didn't rack up the total points to get in. But now that everyone has a seat at the table, a lot of teams are going to have to put their money where their mouth is and, actually play us now. So we're excited about that.
Austintown Fitch head football coach T.J. Parker joining me on the MP Vivo Heating and Air Conditioning Hotline. I asked Coach Wright down in Southern this question, and I'll ask you because you're a candidate. 6 teams will get a bye as we go from 26 to 16 in week number 1 of the postseason. Let's assume for a second that you do get a bye. In your heart of hearts, Coach, in Week 7, assuming that your team is completely healthy, there are no significant injuries, if you were given the choice, do you want to play and continue to get on that incredible roll that you're on right now, or do you shut it down and rest for a week and get ready for round 2? If you had your choice, which one would you choose, Coach?
I've been back and forth with this. I definitely don't think there's a definite answer. I think it's always great when you play the level of football that we play here to give your guys some rest. But make no mistakes about it. The rest for us looks a little bit different than it does for maybe some other smaller schools. We'll be getting after it, and we'll be looking. The state actually allowed us to have scrimmages. So if we are fortunate enough to get that bye, we'll be calling some teams to see if we can get maybe an organized practice, good versus good, just to stay sharp for that week. And then there's the other side of it. I want our kids healthy. You know what I mean? I want them to have that advantage. And the reality of the situation is you have a good season, you put in the work, and it's a week 1 win, so you deserve that to advance. And that's what we talk about even this season. I was talking to a couple college coaches, Coach Brian Chris, former offensive coordinator at YSU. We had this conversation that, coaches tend to look at the regular season. You have a win, and maybe it's an ugly win. Your team doesn't play good, and you're stuck on it, and you come to film, and you're talking about this, this, and this. But when you get to the playoffs, you win, you advance, and you move on. So it's kind of, we worked this hard. We've earned the right to get a first-round bye. Okay, we've advanced. Now it's time to prepare for the next game. So I'm on both sides of it, but, yeah, I'm glad we're in the situation that we have the opportunity to earn a first-round bye. I'll take it, and then we'll make sure myself and our staff puts in the work to have our team ready for that round 2.
All right, let's talk about the opponent in hand that may very well prevent you from getting a bye, and that's Cleveland Benedictine. 2 wins, 2 losses on the campaign. We made mention they lost to arguably the 2 best teams in Division II in the state of Ohio, in Akron, Hoban, and Massillon. What does Benedictine do, as you've seen them on film? What do they do that could cause concern for the Falcons Saturday night in Euclid?
Yeah, I mean, this is not an overstatement. I definitely believe this is the best team on our schedule and the best team we have seen to this point. Defensively, they're a 3-down front with 3 very, very good defensive linemen, and then linebackers who can run. And they can run in the secondary. They have athletes. And then offensively, they do a really good job of mixing up an under-center power run game with then taking it over the top from the gun and throwing to their athletes on the outside. When you look at their team makeup, they have a very, very good high school quarterback who can use his legs to threaten you. They have a very, very large and physical O-line. They have to be 6'2" across the board and right around 275 to 300 pounds across the board. And then they got guys they can throw to on the outside. So anytime you have that balance where you can take advantage of run and then beat you over top, that's pretty scary for defenses. And then, as I mentioned, their defense, I think it's just such a good defense. We anticipate them trying to come and man us up and playing a little bit of man free and seeing if they can get to Devin and in our backfield, and then if we can get open on the outside. So we look forward to that challenge.
Speed factor, and I know that you're going to be playing at Euclid. Euclid has turf. You guys have been playing on turf all year long. Are you comfortable with the speed matchup?
Yeah, I don't think there's a team in Division II where we're getting overly uncomfortable about speed. If we have one thing, we do have some speed on the perimeters and that. But any time with us, we're an undersized unit on both fronts. So when I look at that, we always get nervous how we're going to hold up on the offense and defensive lines. But our kids are unbelievably tough, and they're excited for the challenge.
Coach, let me ask you, because of the undersized on both the offensive and defensive lines, especially when you're going up against arguably one of the largest offensive lines in all of D2 football, are without giving up the game plan, is there going to be more blitzing than usual?
I mean, we do what we do. I mean, Fitch has always been a heavy blitz team, and we like to put the pressure on defenses. As I mentioned, we're comfortable with our speed on the outside, so we do mix in a lot of man, a lot of coverage, and we're a press team now on the outside. So, yeah, I mean, you'll definitely see us get after them a little bit. It's what we have to do. If we don't have, the weight up front, we got to use our speed to our advantage, and our guys will be moving, and we'll be sending some different things at them.
Hey, before I let you go, you have an opportunity, you and the rest of the coaches in D2 Region 5 are going to have an opportunity to vote. I posed this question to Coach Wright when we had him on earlier. He made the comment, why not just go to the computer and just play the final game of the regular season and let the regular season dictate where we're going to be with the computer rankings? Are you good with that, or do you prefer doing a vote to to see where you guys are after week 5, or would you rather have the computer make that choice for everyone?
Here's my stance on the whole thing. Whatever rules they give us, we're willing to follow by and we'll move forward with them. The thing I don't like about the whole situation is the wishy-washiness between, okay, last year we had a system that we felt has always been right in previous years. Points are earned, top teams make it, here's how we enter the playoffs with the top 8, all going based on points. I don't understand why that would change any this year, even with all the teams getting in. Why wouldn't seeding still, if the system we felt was perfect and worked for us, why would we change the system just based on more teams getting in? If the point system works for us, well, then you seed it by the points that are there, and we move forward. But
it's a valid point, Coach. It's a very valid point. And by the way, if the computer rankings were the end-all, be-all, Austintown Fitch would currently be number 4 right now in Division II, Region 5, and very close behind number 2 Hudson and number 3 Walsh Jesuit. So, look, I agree with you. I think that they should have waited till the end of the season and let the computer rankings speak for themselves. But again, that's you guys get to vote, and hopefully you'll be voting your hopefully 5-0 Fitch Falcons as a very high seed, and hopefully you guys get a very high seed when the seedings are announced next week. Congratulations on the start. Good luck to you on Saturday night against Benedictine at Euclid. This should be a fun game and a great test for you guys. Continued success, Coach.
Thank you, Ron, and thank you for everything you guys do for us.
Appreciate it. Appreciate it, sir.
You have a good one, Ron.
All right, you as well. TJ Parker, he is the head coach of the Austintown Fitch Falcons.